learning objectives of today's lecture are, by the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand why file handling is important, what is file handling, and how you can create, read, write, append files. After that, how you can work with different file modes, how to use with statement, understand text files, CSV files, and JSON files, differentiate between errors and exceptions, handle exceptions using try, except, else, and finally, raise custom exceptions, understand assertions, learn basic debugging techniques, get introduced to logging, and build a real project using file handling and exception handling. So this is all the things which we will be doing in this lecture. So firstly, I will start from the recap of the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we learned about modules and packages, how we can use built-in modules, how to use pip, what is requirements.txt, and now we will start from this. Now imagine that you have created a student management system. What is student management system? It is a system designed to manage the students, their work, their details, their fees, and all the things related to that, like a school management system, you can say. So a student management system is you have created that. And now where will the student details go after the program closes? So when the program closes, so where the details of the students will go? It will go nowhere. Why? Because variables store data only. If you are storing some information in a variable, that is stored temporarily. Okay, what is the meaning of temporarily? It means that whenever the program stops, all the data disappears. So to permanent store information, we use files. And to use files, we should know how the file handling is done. So that is why file handling is important. So what is file handling? File handling allows Python programs to create files, to read files, to write files, and to update existing files. And after that, how we can delete files as well. So files helps us to store data permanently. So there are some real life examples as well, like student records, bank transactions, login credentials, application logs, configuration files, notes application. So these are some of the applications of file handling in real life applications. So now there are different types of files as well. So what are the different types of files? The first one is text files like notes.txt, student.txt, data.csv that are human readable. What is a text file? Simply it means that which a human can read. So human readable. So this is a text file. Now we are having some binary files as well, which only the system, the computer can understand. So that are .jpg, .mp4, .mp3, .pdf. So these are not plain text files. These are some codes that only the computer will understand. So we will not we are not going to talk about binary files in today's lecture. We will talk about text files only. So let us focus on that only. So let us start with the opening of files. Now, how you can open files in Python. So to open files, you need to create a variable, or you can say an object. Sorry. So you need to create a variable, let's say file, then equals to, then you have to use open function. What you need to use? You need to use open function. So when you use open function, in that you need to give two things. So here is comma separated two things. So the first one is the file name. In double quotes, you need to mention the file name with the extension. The proper extension should be there. And after that, after the comma, in double quotes, you have to mention the mode. What is the mode of that? So firstly, you need to mention name. After that, you need to mention the mode. So these two things you have to mention to open a file. For example, we are having like this file is equal to open. After that, we are having file name notes.txt in double quotes like I have said it here. And after that, we are having the mode of that file, that is R. R means to read. So what is mode and how the different modes work? We will understand it here. Now we are having numerous amounts of modes here which you can use to open a file. You can open in read mode, write mode, append mode, and you can create new file, read and write both, write and read, append and read. So what is meaning of all? Let us understand these first. So R means to read. So what does read mean? You are opening file to just read out the content. Whatever the content is there in the file, you will only be able to read that. You can't change that. You can't update that. You can't add something in that. So you can only read. But when you open in W mode, that is write mode, you can only change the content. You can write anything, you can update, you can append anything, but you cannot read that. So that is write mode. So after that, there is append mode. Append mode is used to append something in a file. So and after that, we are having X, that is create new file. If you have to create a new file, you have to open it with X. So it will create a new file. After that, we are having R plus. R plus means read and write. Same way we are having W plus, that means write and read, and same way we are having append and read, A plus. So these are some different modes. We will usually work with read plus write, or we will work with write, read, append. It depends on use cases. What the situation demands. So according to the situation, we will be dealing with the modes. We will be using them according to the situation. So how we can read files, it is given over here. We will use we are having three functions to use to read files. We are having read function, then we are having read line function, then we are having read lines function. So what is the difference between three? I will explain you, but before that, let us create a file in Python using this mode, X mode. So I will open VS Code. After that, I will create a new folder over here. I will create a new folder. I will name it as lecture underscore 10. So that folder is created inside the lecture 9. So I will just move it outside now. Here I'm in the folder lecture 10. In the lecture 10 folder, I will create a new file. I will create a new file over here. I will name it as files.py. After that, I will write here, let's say I will write file is equal to open. Let me zoom it in, and now I will create a new file. So as I have told you here how you can open a file. To open a file, you have to write like this: file, a variable name, or anything any name you want to mention it here, you can mention. And after that, you need to write equals to, then open, and in the bracket you have to mention two things. First is the file name, and second is the mode. So I want that I should create a file with the name, let's say content.txt. So I want to create a file with the name content.txt, and I want to create it using code only. One thing is that I can go into File Explorer and right click there, click on New Document, and create a file there and save it. But the second method is to do with the code. So we are working with Python, so I will not use the automated method that is already been there. I will use the coding method. So I will write here brackets. I will open up the brackets. I will write, let's say, content.txt, close this double quote, then comma, and I want the mode to be, what is the mode for creating a file? To create a new file, the mode is X. So I will write here X. So this will just create a new file. So you can see over here that we are having files.py only in the lecture 10. Now I am going to execute this. When I execute, this file will be created. You just see over here I run this and see here one new file one new file comes here, that is content.txt. This is empty. I can write anything, but I will write with the code only. So this is empty file and I will come here. So we have created the file now. So when I run this again, it will give error. Why error? Because file already exists there. So one time the file is created, other time it will give error. Now I will do is I will allow the permissions. I will write the mode to be R plus. Why R plus? Because I want to read as well as write in this file. So now I will write in this file. How to write anything in the file? Just I will come over here and explain you here. You will see read files. But firstly, let's see how to write. So to write that, you can open in W mode or you can open in W plus mode or you can either open in R plus mode. So these are the modes which allows you to write. Okay, so you just need to write the file, the variable name you have used here. After that, dot write and whatever you want to write, just write in the brackets in the double quote. So I will go in the VS Code. I have changed the mode to R plus. After that, I will just write the variable name, then dot, then write. Let's say we write this. This is a text file, and this backslash n is for the new line over here. So backslash n is for new line only. So we have written something over here, but it doesn't come here. Why? Because we have not executed our code. So when I execute this, it executes successfully. And when I go here and check, one line is written over here, and the cursor is already shifted to the second line. Why? Because we have used backslash n. So we have put some content in our content.txt file. So now we get to know how we can write anything into the file. So now let's understand how we can read anything from the file. So we are having three methods to read, and we will now understand the difference between the three of these. The first method over here is read method or read function. It is used to read the complete file. So why it is used? It is used to read the full content of the file. The second one is read line. It now there is different in these both functions that this is without s and here s is present over here. So read line reads one line at a time. It will read one line at a time, and read lines returns a list of lines. So for example, there it was given 1, 2, 3 like this. So we have written only in the first line and the cursor was here over here in the second line. But for example, here is also something written and here is also something written. So read lines will return a list of all the lines. So it will return like this. It will it will return like this. A list. First line, then comma, second line, then comma, third line, and here it will end the list. So we will have three elements and we can access each line with the index number. So we can access this with the index 0, this with 1, this with 2. So let us try executing and understand more about this. So the first method is read. So firstly, let me generate more lines in the file. We only have one line. So I will just do is I will give space here and see it already it is already suggesting something. I will just put tab, then again put space. Again it has written something. It has written it is a test file. It contains some sample text for testing purposes. Feel free to modify it as needed. So I will run this code. It has run successfully and we are having some content out here. Something is over here. This is one extra space here in that lines. So I will just delete that from here. Sorry, from here. So the extra space is here. I will just delete it out and then again run it. Now see, this space has gone. Now let's try to read that. So we have written this. I will just cut it out, and now we will just try to read. How we can read that? You just need to write the file name, then dot and read. The first function is to read. So this is a simple function. Just write the file name, whatever the variable you have written over here, and then write dot read function. And when I run this, nothing happens. Why? Because we have just read it, we have just read it out, but we haven't printed it yet. So to see the output here, we need to print this thing. So I will just select this, I will put this in the brackets, and after that I will come to the starting of the line, I will write here print. So now we can get to see the output over here. So see here, when I print this, I get this. So it just, if you write on the file.read, it will read out the content, but after that it will not do anything. It will not print until and unless you will write the print statement outside of this statement. So this is how you can read the full. This is how you can read the full file. So the next function which we saw was read line. So what does read line do? I will just write it line here after read. So I have written read line over here, and when I run this, it will just read one line at a time. So this is a test file. It reads the first line. So what if I want to read the second line? What should I do? So to read different lines, you can put this into a loop, or we can see that later on. But for now, it will just remember that it will return one line at a time. Now, the next method is lines, read lines. So what will it do? It will return a list. As I have said, it is returning a list of all the lines. So this is how it is happening. Now, one thing I want to do, instead of printing this, all the lines, this is a list, it will return a list. So I will just create a variable here lines equal to file dot read lines. So this list will be stored in this variable lines, and I want to print the third line now. So what I will do, I will just print it here, print lines. Then in the index I will say 2, and when I run this, I got the third line, which is feel free to modify it as needed. So I am getting the third line. So this is the use case of read lines. So I hope you are clear with the difference between all the three. Now I will show you here how you can use read line to print or get all the lines one by one. I will just comment it here that how to use read line to get all lines from a file. So it has auto suggested. So what we are doing? We are creating an empty list after that. We have used a loop. As I have said earlier, we will use loop. So what it is written, I will explain that out. We have used while loop, while true. So until and unless it is true, it will execute. And then we are just reading line. We are doing read line. If not line, then break lines dot append line. So we are doing reading one line at a time, and after that, if there is no line after in the file, it will break it out. It will come out of the loop. But if there is file, it will just run again. And in the end, we are doing lines dot append line. What does this mean? This will get one line. After that, we are storing that line in this list. We are appending that in this list, and we will get the lines in a same index or the same order. So when I run this, nothing happens because we have not printed anything. Now I will just come here and print. I will print lines and execute this. So when I execute, I'm getting the same output. I'm getting the same output as I got in the case of read lines function. So this is the another way to use read line as read lines. So I can show you one more thing here, that what is the logic behind this. I will just print file dot read line just one time here and again three times. Now let's see. I will run this and see here. One time it is returning the first line, after that the second line, after that the third line. So every time this statement will run, this will return the next lines, but a single line at a time. So that's why we are using loop to get all the lines, and we have provided there a condition if that line is if the next line is not there, so it will break it out. It will come out of the loop and we will terminate the loop. So I hope you are clear with the difference between all these. Now one more thing is there, that there is one function print file read, and you can write here the one number. Let's say I write here 10. So what will happen? It will just read first 10 characters. So this is A. So the 10th character finishes after A. So it just returns this thing. What if I write here, let's say I write 26 or 25, run this, I got something. So whatever the number you write, it means that it will return only that number of characters from the file. But if you write nothing, it will return everything. So this is some another thing, another technique which you can use to read out the content of a file. Now let's come to the nodes and go to the next topic. Now, how we can append data to the existing file? We have created a file. We already have a file over here. So you already have a file, but you want to add something after this line, or let's say you are having this. I will just read it out. Now see, after this third line, you want to add something new. So how you can do that? How can you how can you do that? You can use append function. So just see over here. How you can do? You have to open the file in A mode, that is append mode, and file.write slash new line added. Anything you can write over there in the double quotes. And unlike write mode, append preserves existing content. So you have to use write function only. But if you are using write function in r plus w plus or w, it will write the content by removing everything from the content and everything from the file. But if you use here a mode, you are using a mode here, and then you are using here file.write, and this is a new line of the text. So when I run this, it will preserve the code. So now when I come to context file, so new line is added at the end of the existing content. So this is the use of append. Append means to add anything in the end. This is the simple meaning of append. So this is how it is executed. Now one more thing is there. In the program, if you have opened the file, you have to close that also. So you have to write file dot close as well after all the operations, all the manipulations that you wanted to do has been done. So you have to close the file as well. So this is the same way, like when you open a book and read something or write something in that. So after doing the work, you have to close that. So same way there is in the case of files, same thing is applied, that if you open, you have to close as well. So this is how it is working. After that, how to create new files, we have seen this topic as well. And now how to close files, we have seen this also. So why we are closing files? Because open files consume system resources. So to reduce the usage of the resources, we have to close them wherever necessary. So when our work is done, we have to close the files. Now what is context manager? So instead of it is like too much lengthy to write, these whole things like firstly open, then do the work and then close. So in the long run, it will be lengthy to do. So to avoid that, you can just write with open, then you can simply write with open, then that the file name, then the mode in the bracket as we are doing here. The same thing you can write after with. So you have to use with the keyword, and after that just write the open function as we are writing earlier. Okay, and after that just write the file, the variable name after as. Use as keyword and just write the variable name, then put the colon over here. After that, write whatever statement you want and it will be automatically closed. So Python automatically closes the file. This is the recommended approach. So whenever you are working with files, it is recommended to use this method over this method. Why? Because it will auto close the files. You do not need to write the closing code every time. So let us try this. I will just clear this out and now just see over here what I'm doing. You have to write with, after that open, and after that in the brackets you have to write in the double quotes, just write over there content dot py and sorry, content dot txt, and after that I have just auto generated the code from AI, so it has auto generated while I was typing. So now what is happening? We are writing open content.txt and we have set the mode to R. R means to read it out, and we have specified the variable name as file. So we are storing it here, but just ignore this and I will write here print file.read. So I'm just accessing the content of the file by using the read function directly in the print statement so that I can print it as well. So when I run this, I'm getting the desired output. So instead of writing this stuff, these three lines, we can do that in just two lines of code. So this is how the context manager works. Now, we have seen how we are working with txt files. So now we will work with CSV files. What are CSV files first of all? The CSV file means comma separated values, or you can say another version of Excel files. But in CSV generally stands for comma separated values. So for example, it is like here name, comma age, comma city, Rahul, comma 20, comma Delhi, Karan, comma 21, comma Chandigarh. So how you have to read? You have to read this in the form of table. So this is one table over here. So names are here Rahul and Karan, then age 20, 21, city Delhi and Chandigarh. So this is how a comma separated value, that means the CSV file is readed via human. Now, how we can read that in the code in Python? Just see over here, you have to import one thing, that is CSV. Just write import CSV, and after that, whatever we are writing, just write that. And instead of using the read function, you have to use reader. You have to write it like this: CSV dot reader, and inside that you have to give the variable name which you have used here. Here we have used file, so give it here, and you can simply print it out, or no, if you print directly, maybe you will get comma separated values, but to print different values, so you can use this method. Store this result in variable, let's say reader, and after that use for loop for row in reader, print row. So each row will be printed in separate line. So this is how it is done. This is how the file will be opened. The CSV file is opened. We will open it out, but before that, let us understand more examples. So another example is here uh, how to write CSV file. How to write in CSV file. To do that, same way you have to import CSV. After that, with open, you have to use W mode, and you can specify new line is equal to empty double quotes. Okay, and after that specify the variable name. After that, writer is equal to csv dot writer, then file. You have to write this function, and then writer dot writer row, then write in this format. What we are doing, we are giving the list. What is this? Whenever you see square brackets and you see comma separated values in that, it means it is a list. So now what we are doing, right row. So we are giving the data in this format. So you have to firstly give the heading. So we have given your name, age, city. After that, you have to give the values of that. Rahul 20 Delhi. So we have given two things. Now let us write file. So firstly, I will create a new file here. I will name it as, let's say, data.csv. I have created this. Now it has suggested one extension. So I will just install it so that you can understand. I will just trust it and it is installed. So now we can see the data clearly over here. So I will come to files.py and I will delete this code. I will fill out the terminal and from the starting I will write over here. So firstly I will import CSV. After that I have to do with open. After that, what I need to open now? I will not open content.txt. I will open file. Sorry, data.csv. So I have written over here data.csv. After that, I have used the read mode, but I want to write it over here. So I will use w and set the new line is equal to empty. So as the file. So I will write the same code. This same code I am writing this. After that, it has suggested me already. So just there is a difference in the data, otherwise we are having the same syntax over here. So I have used a variable writer is equal to csv dot writer. Then I have given the file name. So what is happening? So this is the object. So one object is created to write data. So whenever I use this object, I can write the functions with this object and then put the data here, like in this format. So now you see here, this is an empty file. So when I run this code, it is executed. So it has created another file. So this file is pasted over it. So it has created one new file outside the folder. So no problem. Let us see it out. I will open it out and see we are having comma separated values over here. So we are having the data here. Now how I can read that? So instead of I will just comment it out. I will comment it with open. Now after that I will write here with open data.csv then read. So what we have done? We have written this same code over here. Reader, we have created a object over here that will read the content. So we are trying to get every row from this object, and we are just printing that. So when I run this, I'm getting list of all the rows. So each data of the row is printed in single line. So this is how you can open and write the content in CSV files. Now working with JSON files. Now what is JSON file? JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. So this is an example of a JSON file that the data is stored like this. Firstly, it is like dictionary. It is similar to dictionary. So the data is stored in curly braces like this. Curly braces start, ends, and after that you have to specify a key, then colon, then its value. So this is the format of JSON file, which is similar to that of dictionary in Python. So how to write? You instead of importing CSV, you need to import JSON. After that, we have just created a dictionary over here, and we will with open student.json w as file json.dump student.file.intent indent is equal to 4. So this is the syntax of writing the content in JSON file. So it is similar to the that dictionary. So what will happen is it will just copy the dictionary student into that JSON file. So this is how you can store a dictionary into a JSON file. And reading is same as that mentioned over here. You can read the content of a JSON file in this format. Now, why JSON is widely used in APIs? So this is how you can do the reading of file. So we are done with one part of the lecture, that is about file handling. So how to write, how to read, what are the different modes, we are done with that. So now the next thing is exception handling. So what is exception handling? We will learn it now, but before that, let us see what are errors. So error are problems that prevent the program from running correctly. So what are errors? Error are the problems that prevent the program from running correctly. So let's say we are dividing 10 with 0. So when we divide 10 with 0, sorry, when we divide 10 with 0, it will not be divided and it will give 0 error, or what is zero division error is the name. So it will give zero division error. Why? Because dividing a number by zero is not possible. We will get we will not get the desired answer. Whenever we try to divide any number with zero. So this is the error. This is known as error. So what is error? Error are problems that prevent the program from running correctly. Now, let us see what is the difference between error and exceptions. So, most of the students confuse errors with exceptions, but this is completely wrong thing, that this both are not same. There is difference between the both. Now, what are errors? Errors are serious issues, and on the other side, what are exceptions? Exceptions are runtime problems. What is difference between serious issues and runtime problem? So runtime problem is a problem that occurs when a program is running and then something happens. So that is known as an exception. And what is error? Error is something that is already been written in the code, and that from the writing we are getting some error. And what are errors? Errors are usually not handled, but exceptions can be handled. That happen on the runtime and that can be handled, that are known as exceptions. And errors, we are having example here like syntax error happens. And what are exceptions? We are having exceptions like zero division error. So this is an exception over here. And after that, indentation error, it comes under errors. And what is exception? In that case, we are having file not found error. So these are the different types of errors which are known as exceptions, which can be handled in the runtime. Now, moving to the common exceptions which we are having. The first one we have seen already, that is zero division error. We have seen it here, that anything divided by zero, it will give exception over here and it will give zero division error. And after that, we are having value error, type error, name error, index error, key error, file not found error. So I will give a brief intro about everything that is mentioned over here. So file not found error. So what I will do, I will just copy this, and I have the better way to illustrate this. I will copy this, sorry, I will copy this out. After that, just wait. So I just came to ChatGPT and say to it that just give me. So I just pasted whatever the errors, the types of errors which I was having, and after that I just say give me example of each error with a brief intro about each. So it has given me beautifully. This is how you can also learn. So what is zero division error? A zero division error occurs when you try to divide number by zero, as I have told it. And after that, since division by zero is mathematically undefined, So Python raises this error. Why it raises error? Because we cannot divide any number by zero, as I have told. So what is the example of that? Example of that is we are storing 10 in a variable num, and after that we are dividing it by zero, and when we are dividing it by zero, it will give error. But what is the name of that error? Zero division error. Division by zero. So this is error. After that we are having value error. Now what is value error? Just see the example over here. What we are doing? We are having a string over here that is 20, and we are trying to convert the string into integer. We are explicitly trying to convert a string into integers, which is not possible. I have shown this error in the lecture of variables and data types, where I have shown this error that you cannot convert a string into integer by explicitly trying to convert that. So this will give a value error occurs when a function receives an argument of the correct type but with an invalid value. So this is when the error will occur. So the next error is type error. Type error occurs when an operation or function is applied to an object of an inappropriate type. So when it will occur, just see the code and try to understand what is happening. We are having one variable that is storing 10, another variable text that is storing a string. We are having number storing 10, we are having text storing a character, or you can say string, that is 5. So what we are doing here, result is equal to number plus text. We are trying to add integer and string, which is not possible. Why? Because there is different, these are of different types. You can add integer with integer, you can add string with string, but you cannot add integer with string. So it will give a type error when you try to do anything out of the box that is not recommended to do, like you cannot add string with integer, integer with string. So then you will get a type error. Why? Because you are adding different types. You cannot do that simply. So you will get a type error in this case. Now the next error is name error. So what is the meaning of name error? It occurs when you try to use a variable or function that has not been defined. So let's say you are printing something. Let's say you are printing student name, but you haven't created the variable earlier. Then in that case you will get the name error. Why? Because name student name is not defined. It is not declared, it is not defined. So how you can call that in the print function? So it will simply raises the error. The next error is index error. Index error occurs when you try to access an index that is outside the valid range of a list, tuple, or string. So we are having a list here, and what is the length of the list? Firstly, we are having the length 3, and from where to where the indexes are going. The indexes start from 0, then 1, then 2. The index goes from 0 to 2, and we are trying to print the index number 5. So how the index 5 can be printed? We are having the index from 0 to 2 only, so we cannot go till 5. There is no chance of having index number 5 here, so it will give index error in this case. After that, we are having key error. Now what is key error? Key error occurs when you try to access a dictionary key that does not exist. Now, same way, here is having index, now here we are having key. So in the case of dictionary, let's say you are having key name and you are having key age. But you are trying to print the value of the key, that is grade. You do not have the key grade. So how you can access that? So in that case, you will simply get the error, that is key error. Now the last one, which is file not found error. So what will happen here? It occurs when Python tries to open a chat. Oh, sorry. It occurs when Python tries to open a file that does not exist in the specified location. Now, if you are trying to open a file that is not located there, so this error will be returned. So what will happen? It will return an error that is known as file not found error. Error number 2, no such file or directory exists. Like something like this you will get. So this is a summary of the errors which we have learned so far. Let's move back to there, and now you know what are these errors. After that, how we deal with these exceptions or errors. Just see over here, we are having two things in Python, that is try and except. So what is try and except first of all? Just I will come over here and just say to GPT that what is try and accept. I will just type over here and just see now what it will give. It just give me something. Let us try to understand. Just see over here what are try and accept in Python. Try and accept are used for exception handling in Python. So why try and accept are used first of all? It is used for exception handling. Now what is exception handling? To handle the errors that can occur so that we can handle that in the runtime. So it protects the program from termination and it allows the smooth running of the program. So they allow program to handle errors gracefully instead of crashing. So the code will not crash, the code will not get terminated. Instead, we will deal with these errors and try to run the code fully so that the code will not crash. So this is the simple meaning of try and accept. The try block contains the code that might cause an error. So what we write in the try block, we will write the code that can cause error. And if that error is occurred, what will happen? The accept block will execute. What is accept block? Accept block contains the code that runs if an error occurs in the try block. So this is the simple meaning of try and accept. Now see the syntax over here. We will write try then colon, and inside this block we will write the code that can cause error. For example, we are dividing any number, let's say 10 by 0. If we divide 10 by 0, it will create an error. So we can write that here in the try block, and after that in the accept block, we have to write the code that runs if an error occurred. So if this will create an error, then this block will be executed and the error will be handled. So let's understand with the example of zero division error. So the same example which I am telling, it is written over here. And after that, in the accept block, we are printing error, you cannot divide number by zero. So instead of getting the error from the compiler, we are just printing that so that our program can run fully. So this is the case of this. Without try and accept block, the program will stop. It will stop and it will return this. But now the program will not stop. If something is written after this code, it will also execute. But if we do not write this thing in try block, then what will happen? The program will get terminated over this line, and whatever the statements that are written after that, that will not be executed. So this is the simple thing which you can integrate into your codes to stop the errors, or I may say to handle the errors. Now same way there is one another example. I will move back to here and see the example over here. So what is syntax written over here? This is the same thing that is written in short over here, that in the try block we will write the risky code, and in the except block we will write the handle error. So whatever the statement we want to write, that we will write over here. So now we will try to execute this thing. I will come to VS Code. I will just move this file inside first of all, and after that I will create a new file over here. I will write it as exception.py, and in this file let us do zero division error example. So let's do it without try and accept. After that we will use try and accept and then see the difference between both. So I will write it here like, let's say I will write a simple line, print 10 divided by 0, and run this. Now see what is happening. we are getting a zero division error. Let's say I'm having one more line after this. Let's say print program ends successfully. Let's say it is written like this. So when I run this code, we are getting error, zero division error, and we will not, the program is stopping here, and we are, this line is not able to execute, and we are not getting the complete output of the program. So to prevent this thing, what we can do, I will just comment it out so that it should be there for the reference for you to understand. So I will use try. After that, I will write this line. Whatever the line that can cause error, that can make the error occur, I will write that. Sorry, I will write that here. And after that, I will write accept. I will write outside the try block accept. After that, put colon, and we can print an error occurred. An error occurred. So in this case, we clearly know the error is zero division error. So we can mention over here also that accept zero division error like this. But if you don't know the error, you can simply write like this accept, and after that you can write whatever you want to write in the handle part. And now we can write this statement. Now what is this? So firstly see here. Now what is this? Print program and successfully. I will copy it out. This statement should occur after this. So this is a normal code. Whatever the code is after this line, we will write that normally. We will not write that in accept or try. We will write that in simple way. But the line that can cause problem, the block that can cause problem, we will write that in the try block, and to show that some error has occurred in that we can write in the accept part. So now whenever I run this code, the program is ending successfully. Why? Because we are handling it with the help of try and accept. So this is the difference between try and accept. Without using, it will create an error and it will not execute the whole code. But when you use try and accept, it will run the whole code. Whatever you write, it will run that and it will handle the error. So this is all about handling error with try and accept. Now, handling specific exceptions. Like I have explained you there that you can use zero division error or value error, whatever the type of error, you can mention it over there so that the compiler can easily understand what type of error has occurred, and it will be able to match up with the set block. Now, what is else block? Runs only if no exception occurs. Now, what is else block? It will run only if no exception occurs. So, in this case, we can do one more thing. We can use this. We have seen try, we have seen accept. Now you can write one more thing with this, that you can write it here like else. Now what will happen? If an error occurs, that will if an error occurs in this line, then accept block will be executed. Whatever is written inside the accept block, it will be executed. Now, if no error is occurred, then else block is executed. Whatever is written inside else, it will be executed. So we have written in the accept an error occurred, and we have written in the else part no error occurred. So when I run this, an error occurred is printed. Let's say I divide the number by 1. So when I run this, no error occurred. Why no error occurred? Because this statement is executed successfully. So that's why we are getting no error occurred. So this is the thing. This is another thing that you can write to beautify the code, to make the program more smooth. Now the last thing which we are having is finally blocked. So what does finally block do? It always execute. It doesn't matter that the error is occurring or not. It will always execute. So we are having one example over here, that is file not found error is there. And in the finally we are writing program finishes. So in the finally block, whatever we write, it will run every time. Let's say we are writing print program and successfully. I will write this inside finally. So I am writing here finally, After that, putting colon, and I will come to the starting of that, and I will give a tab space over here. So the spelling of finally is with double L. Do not use single L. You will get a syntax error. So whenever I run this, now this finally block will occur. This finally block will run every time. It doesn't matter that an error occurs, an exception occurs, or an exception doesn't occur. It will run every time. So let us memorize, or let's say let us revise it again, that the try block is used to write the statements that can cause errors. Then the except block is used to write the statement that shows that the error is handled, and in the else part we write the statement that is that will execute when the error is not there. So the step block will execute when there is error, the else block will execute when there is no error, and the finally block will always execute. So this is the common difference between try, except, else, and finally. So now you know how you can handle an error. Now, how to raise exceptions. Sometimes we intentionally raise an exception. What is the meaning of raising exceptions? Sometimes we intentionally raise an exception. Why? Because we want to print something. Like wherever it is necessary, sometimes the situation is that we need to raise an error. So why we do that? Let us understand with the help of this code. I will just copy and go to VS Code and then see what is happening. Now I will create a new file, raising underscore exceptions dot py. Now I will paste this code. Now see what we are doing. We are taking input of the age of from the user, converting that into integer type, and then we are checking if age is less than 18. If age is less than 18, we are raising an error. Raise value error. Age must be least 18. So age must be at least 18. So print eligible. So if the age is less than 18, it will raise the error that age must be less than 18. If the age is greater than 18 or equal to 18, it will print eligible in that case. So what is another method? Let us execute, and after that we will see what is another method of writing this. So when I am executing, it is asking to enter the age. Let's say I enter 70 and press enter. So it just put the error that age must be age must be at least 18. So to get eligible, age must be at least 18. So why we are doing? We are doing it intentionally so that the age must be greater than or at least 18. So in that case, this instead of raising an error, we can do one more thing here, that we can use print function simply, and when I execute, if I enter 70, sorry, we have forgot to use the else part over here. Yes, sorry. Now you can use simply if else to handle with these type of errors. Otherwise you can write in the you can write the condition, and if the condition is satisfied, you can use raise value error or anything, raise the name of the error and the message you want to print to the user. So this is the another thing that is in exception handling. Now, what are assertions? Assertions are used to check assumptions during development. So, what are assertions? They are used to check assumptions during development. Let's say we are having age is equal to 20. After that, assert age is greater than equal to 18. Print eligible. If the assertion fails, age is equal to 15. Assert age greater than equal to 18 raises. Now, what does it do? It raises assertion error. So I will not go into details. You can explore that. You can explore assertions by yourself. It is not that much important. So the next thing is what are debugging basics. So to debug a code, if you get an error, how you can solve that error? Firstly, read error message carefully. Firstly, whatever the error you got in the console or terminal, you have to read that carefully where you are getting the error and which type of error you are getting, in which statement you are getting. And after that, try printing values to to understand where the error is occurring. After that, you can check, go for indentation first. Most probably that the your indentation must be wrong, so that's why some error is occurring. If indentation is not wrong, then check the logic, check the syntax, and small test small pieces of code so that you can understand which part is working and which is not. So this is how you can debug your code. Now we are in some mini projects, that is notes manager is given over here. This will use file manager and sorry, this will use file handling and exception handling methods. So you can try this. If you will not understand, you can go to ChatGPT. You can just say the features and the concepts that will be used to ChatGPT and get the code and say it to explain it, so you can easily understand that. But firstly, try it by yourself. After that, we are having some practice questions which you can also try. These are very basic questions. I recommend you to go for some advanced questions, so your concepts must be clear after that, so you can practice very well. So these are some questions which you can try. And in today's lecture, what we have learned so far, we have learned file handling, file modes, reading and writing files, appending data. Then we see what is context manager. Then we see CSV files, JSON files, then errors versus exceptions, then try, accept else finally, and then raise, assert, and then we see how to debug the code. So this is all about today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will learn about object-oriented programming in Python. So thank you for now.